from the All Indiana Podcast Network. It's Diversity Focus Today. Now, here's your host, Ricky Solid Gold Clark.
And welcome to another edition of Diversity Focus Today. I am your host along with our co-host. I'm Ricky Clark, incidentally. Our co-host today, of course, as always, is the lovely and talented Dr. T.
Hello.
Tammy Harris. And our other co-host is on assignment, out and about, attorney Mike Murray. And, of course, Brian Wallace, our other team member, is out and about as well. So, as you can see, we do work when we're not here. Of course, this is work, too. We got a special show designed and planned for you today, and Dr. T is going to take the microphone and do her thing because we've got a special guest, and I will let her go ahead and do her thing on that.
Thank you. So today I'm here to present Mr. Lloyd Garrison. He is the CEO of Hidden Gems by LG, public servant, and the author of A Mile in His Shoes Revised. Just recently, this is May. It was also known as Mental Health Awareness Month. And just me being a board certified art therapist, licensed mental health consultant, or counselor, because I do consulting as well. I always get that twisted. And a psychologist, I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss relevant topics here in our state pertaining to youth violence and some creative ways of dealing with mental health. So, and also talk about the different health approaches and outreach to discuss within Indiana, like things that's going on in Indiana.
Now, did you contribute what you're talking about to this recent, well, I guess it's not recent, this gun violence that youth gun violence that our good friend Mike Epps talked about and so on, what have you?
Right. Yesterday, comedian Mike Epps and Marion County prosecutor Ryan Myers had a partner.
Ryan Mears.
Ryan Mears.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Who had partnered and spoke about gun violence. And the article that was written in the Indy Star yesterday explained how the prosecutor's office and Epps has hosted a youth-centered roundtable discussion.
Right.
And they had talked about the causes and the consequences of gun violence. And high school students from Indianapolis Public Schools, IPS, Warren Central High School, and local charter schools was also in attendance there. So I thought that was very on topic of mental health and having the opportunity for children to have that voice and be heard.
I saw that. It was excellent. Yeah.
And then also, I heard Mr. Mears was quoted in the article as saying the number one charge he gets on juvenile side of his prosecutions is that of possession of firearms. Mm-hmm. So whether the youth feel like they're in need of guns to be cool or for protection, it all ends up in the same, with arrests being made and sometimes someone getting hurt. So that made me think about, well, what's the current data here in Indianapolis? So according to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police data, it shows that 11 juveniles were homicide victims in 2024. So far this year, there has only been, unfortunately, it shouldn't be any, but 3. In 2023, there were 20 non-fatal shootings involving youth. In 2024, there were 29 non-fatal shootings, and this year so far there has been 21, unfortunately.
And it's still early.
Yes.
Summertime is still early.
Yes, and the more reason to put this out here, piggyback after their programming yesterday.
Okay.
And here, another statistics here within Indianapolis, it says that gun violence among youth contains a plague in the streets. While the rate of youth homicides had reduced, the number of juveniles getting shot but surviving had ticked up. The police department recognized a 7% increase this year in particularly violent case that brought the city's problem into the national spotlight. I didn't hear about this, but 7 juveniles ages 12 to 16 were shot in March downtown over some online beef. So you see how social
yeah.
media is playing into real life unfortunate scenarios
That's
there.
normally what's behind a lot of this, is that social media.
And so the city from there has tried to put into a now enforced curfew. So, and all that to say, our guest Lloyd Garrison here works with just that population.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And so in the initial intro, I mentioned that you are the CEO of Hidden Gems, a public servant, and the author of The Mile in Your Shoes Revised. Can you briefly share a little more about your work and what you do in the book, and hopefully provide some readings from your book?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. T. My life work has been working with juveniles, disadvantaged youth, since 1999. So I've been working with youth since I was 19 years old. I'm now 45, and I'm just excited. I'm passionate about youth violence. I just kind of got into the youth violence scene in 2000, around 2012 or 13. But then more specifically into the Project Life program, where I manage programs specifically for youth that were court ordered to attend programming that I instructed. So I'm excited about that process. I'm not excited about the fact that there's so many youth homicides and juveniles that are carrying guns still. But I write about some of those youth, their voices appear in some of my work. In The Mile in My Shoes Revised, I'm gonna read a couple of poems to you guys so you guys can kind of understand what exactly they're thinking in their minds, although I want this prevalence of violence to stop like everyone else.
So when you have spoke to them, which you, as you said, you'll deliver that in your poems that you're gonna share with us, what are they thinking it? What motivates them? Is it video games? Is it things that occur at their home? Is it peer pressure? Just what is it that ignites them?
Great question. A lot of the youth that I talk to, because I deliver case management services now currently, I'm a juvenile behavior consultant, and so I go to different counties and I talk to kids behind bars or they're locked up, and or in the community or at home. And so a lot of times when they tell me, they don't think before they act. That's the problem. Their decision-making skills, some of their home training, whether the parent is at home or not, maybe they're working too long, they don't have the time and attention to spend with those particular youth, and so then they take it out on other people when they have conflicts. They don't know how to handle conflict appropriately, and so they end up going to their first best need at that point, and my need is to tell you and show you that I can control the situation, even though they don't have any control yet. They're trying to assert themselves in a negative way. And so trying to prevent them from doing those type of things and act that way is very difficult, but it's something that you have to be passionate about. I'm passionate about this work.
Okay. So is it a mixture, I guess, compared to girls and boys? Is it pretty much even? Or more guys doing the crime? Or obviously, because I've seen the girls involved too. It's like, what? Back in the day, that you would rarely see any girls getting involved in anything of a violent nature.
I've seen both, and I think just what you just said, Ricky, is that girls get involved in issues and crimes and have firearms just sometimes as much as boys do. I don't have the statistics when it comes to girls versus boys, but I know that they have case managers and people that work with them too as well, whether they're locked in and behind bars or in the community. They have people that take them out to locations too to try to give them positive feedback, help them endorse positive attitudes, beliefs, to help them kind of get some of their mental health needs on track just as much as some of the boys do. So it's unfortunate that we're at that point now, 2025. You would think that was a problem that would have already been taken care of at this point, but it's still very much rampant within our communities, and especially in Indianapolis.
Well, after they commit the crime, do they have any remorse at all afterwards?
Some of them do. Some of them, unfortunately, they end back up in whether it be adult prison situations, whether it be juvenile prison situations. I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen some people where I've never heard from them again, where they understand. They've made atone for their mistake. They said, okay, I made a mistake one time. I'm not going to do it again. Other people, they're habitual criminals, unfortunately. And I hate to say that about our youth because, like, again, I've been working with youth for a long, long time. Over 20 years working with youth, very passionate, still have relationships with youth now. They have my numbers. They can call me. They can text me anytime. But then you also want to hold them accountable too as well. So.
Okay.
That's kind of where I stand.
And it's interesting you speak of that, but you're still so passionate. Where does the passion come from, despite the pool that this keeps going down this same, path of repetitive offenders and getting locked up? What makes you continue to reach out and work with these youths?
Great question, Dr. T. The one thing that is passionate, it has to be something that's inside you. It's been something that's been burning inside of me since I was very young, and since I was a youth myself. And so it has to be something that it gets you up. It gets you up at night. It gets you up in the day. It makes you work longer hours than you normally work, beyond the 9-to-5 schedule. I've never had a 9-to-5 schedule. It's always been 9 until whenever, 8 until whenever, 6 until whenever. And so that's what you have to do, because there's never enough work that you can do for youth to help them to be successful. And some of the youth, unfortunately, they go on their own path. And so you have to be supportive when it comes to those things too, when you're holding them accountable, because that's also helping them along their way too.
Okay, you said you used some of your poems in your work. Did you bring a couple of them?
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. One poem in particular, I was going to read the first poem. It did have to do with a lot of the youth violence you were talking about, Dr. T. In the beginning of last year, I worked with the kid through the Project Life program, the program that I manage. It's all for kids that were on probation. They were court-ordered to attend my class, whether they were in Madison County, whether they were in Marion County, no matter what county you were attending or you lived, you had to come to my program. And so this is one of the kids that was in the program.
Okay.
And he was actually, he was a casualty of last year, the first casualty for one of the juveniles that was a homicide.
It's called what?
It's called Young King. The poem is called Young King. So that's the way I see him, as Young King.
Okay.
I remember our FaceTime call the other day. You thought enough of me to call me on your lunch break to make amends for our misunderstanding. Our conversation that day and your smile on my phone screen is the memory I will always have of you. You were exactly the person you were evolving to be. A young boy evolving into a young king, with courage to own your mistakes and show respect for those who are trying to pave the way for you. We landed on solid ground, but often wondered, would our paths ever cross again? In other words, you helped me grow that day, understand you, respect you, and admire you. Our call was short, but your impact on the lives of those you touched will last forever. I planned to check in with you a few weeks ago, only to discover you were the first casualty of the streets in 2024. You left a positive mark on the hearts and minds and souls of those and loved ones who supported you. My hope was to see you walking across a stage, accepting keys to your first home, and collecting more certificates of completion. But God had other plans for you. 16 with so much love and time and life to give to the world. But I am convinced that God meant for you to gain your wings and fly away to a place where there are no more pain, only gain. It now resides by the calm rivers and oceans. No more worry. It has been replaced by the willingness to embrace what is in the past. And now your memory, it will live on. No more despair. You are resting beside your Heavenly Father. You are and always will be the young king that FaceTimed me. The young king who faced his problems with solutions. The young king who remained himself true to who you were in the face of adversity. Rest well, young king. Your crown awaits.
Okay, so when you read these to the young people, how do they react after you've read it to them?
So the one thing, this is coming out in my new book, Unbreakable Soul. Okay. So I haven't read them I haven't read this particular poem to them.
Okay.
The next poem, when I read that, the reaction is just, wow. You understand where we're coming from. So that's always the reaction I get from not only from the youth, but also from adults and also parents. Is they celebrate, they cheer. A lot of them cheer. Some of them don't understand because, again, they have to mature to a level where they understand exactly where I'm coming from when I'm
Right.
talking about before you pull the trigger, but that's the first step. Is you got to think about your actions before you pull the trigger. And then once you pull it, unfortunately, these type of things happen. And so a family has to be left to deal with the aftermath, as you talked about earlier.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Real quick, I believe that you had mentioned in the poem that you had talked to this individual prior to him being seen in the following appointment, and there was some sense of misunderstanding. So it sounds like y'all had closure in that misunderstanding, and he was able to start a new path with you in that program.
Absolutely. He was one of the kids, I mean, all the kids, he got a little disrespectful during the program. And what I had to do is I had to basically tell him, you know, we need to scale it back a little bit. Let's talk to you outside, let's close the door. And then he called me back afterwards and said, I know we had a misunderstanding. However, you know, I didn't mean any disrespect, you know, Mr. Garrison. But then, like I said, I just had a moment. And so then I recognized that, the fact that he took the time out of his lunch break, because he worked 2 jobs.
Okay.
And so he's very busy. And so, like I said, we had that misunderstanding, but then we grew from that. I grew from it, he grew from it, and it affected how I dealt with every other kid after that. I said, okay, I'm gonna hold you accountable to show the initiative and respect for your elders, because I'm your elder, I'm older than you are. And so then at the end of the day, we were good, even though I didn't want to see him passing away the way he passed away, of course. And I wanted to see certain things from him that I read in the poem. But I knew that, like I said, we were good on our terms. We had closure.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay.
So the second poem I think you mentioned is about poems you actually read to youth and families and stuff. And what is that called?
This poem is called Before You Pull the Trigger. And this is one of my favorite poems that I've read.
Is it in this book?
It is in that book.
Hidden
In
Gems
the book,
5?
Hidden Gems. Okay.
Okay.
I'll read this poem real quick, and this has to do
Oh, you can
with,
take your time. No.
this has to do with some of the gun violence. This kind of is where it all originates, what happens afterwards. This is called Before You Pull the Trigger.
Okay.
I watch the news from time to time, and maybe I should learn to turn the channel. Crime is not limited to daylight savings time, but between me and you, I'm tired of attending funerals of young people who should be working 9 to 5s in 2-story buildings, not being carried off to the final resting place. I'm tired of waiting at stoplights and seeing stuffed animals, cards, and balloons and flowers on street corners, when I should be receiving more invites to open houses and graduation ceremonies. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'd rather say something to you now than regret saying nothing at all. You can't put bullets back in the chamber once they leave. Social media beefs, someone stepping on your new pair of J's, or someone talking to you sideways. Those are not valid reasons for taking someone's life. Let me keep it real with you. I'm from Generation X, and I know you're from Generation right now. But back in the day, we didn't need a Smith & Wesson to teach someone a lesson. We let our fists do the talking for us. You win some and you lose some, but you go home at the end of the day. So before we go our separate ways, I just have a few questions that I want you to consider before you pull the trigger. Did you consider that family? They will never be able to celebrate holidays and special occasions the same way. There are no virtual birthdays in heaven. Did you consider that mother? She will cry a waterfall of tears that will never bring her baby back, no matter how long she mourns. Did you consider that father? He will be forced to carry the weight of a lost child on his chest forever. I'll give you time to reflect on our chat. Just do me a favor on your way out the door. Think before you act. There's some decisions in life that you can't take back. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you the truth before you pull that trigger. Thank you.
That was nice.
Yeah.
So I can see how the parents, especially the parents, seem to react to that, and even I'm sure some of your youth that you've been dealing with. That's strong.
Thank you.
And then I also hear your reflection of their words. Is it the matter of our youth today have such disrespect or for our elders because they felt that they're being talked to or told what to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even yesterday when I was talking to a youth, he mentioned, I can be asked what to do, but I can't be told what to do. And I said, that's something you really have to look at and consider, because you're always going to be told what to do. It's how you respond. And so I made sure I hammered that message home before he went before the session was over. I wanted to make sure that he knew that's not appropriate to think that way. So just as a youth, a lot of times they think backwards. In terms of how we thought, they think exactly backwards. And you have to kind of meet them where they are, but then also give them the hardcore truth. And that's what I do with all my youth. Give them the hardcore truth. Because I'm not going to help you grow if I don't tell you exactly the rules and policies and protocols that you have to follow. Because either you're going to follow them with me or you're going to follow them inside the detention center.
Okay. Now you said that, of course, the court sends the students to you. Can parents just pick up the phone and call you and make an appointment and have their child meet you or be sent to your program?
I'm working up towards that, but right now they're court ordered, and so they come through an organization, and so then they send me the referral, and then I'm able to accept that referral based on where the location is and making sure I can meet the families and the kids' needs based on where they are at that point. But yeah, definitely 100%. I want to be able to work up to a level where I can actually have parents just contact me directly and just send children to me.
And then there's also workshops that's being developed with the art therapy and the poetry combined to provide that outlet for them to be heard in a creative fashion. So that workshop is going to be presented during the youth program through the prosecutor's office this July. They got a 12-week program, and we're going to present to them to give them options to come to the workshop and create themselves or express themselves through art and poetry. So that is to come, definitely.
In July, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's good. I wasn't aware of that type of a program. That's a great program, man, because the youth needs something. Something needs to occur to kind of crack that egg, because they being hard, it's like, oh man, I'm hard, I'm this, I'm that. Well, okay, yeah, but again, I've seen them, being in the other, my other life from the media end, but also from law enforcement. I've seen all the hardcore, and they be hard in front of their buddies. You stick them in the back of that police car, and they start crying like a baby.
Oh wow! So you saw the other side of that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, oh man, I didn't mean to, tears bigger than a crocodile, and so, well, where's the hardness? I'm just doing that because of my friends, man. I can't show weakness. Well,
who said you can't show weakness?
Yeah. Well, who says that?
Right.
Well, that's how it is out the street. Okay. Yeah. Right. All right. But they will. So yeah, the hardness. In a lot of youth that I've seen, it's just temporary. You put them in a different situation, and it's like, where's the hardness? And, it's like cracking an egg. It's gone. Click. So, but man, my hat off to you, because what you're doing is extremely difficult. You've got to have patience, to deal with that. And so this is great that you've got this book. But no, where's the book available at?
Book is available. I mean, I'm mobile, so it's on site with me, but then also it's on my website. It's on hiddengemsbylg.com. It's at www.hiddengemsbylg.com. Check that site out. That site is amazing. It's got everything you need on there. 21 poems of just inspiration, motivation. And again, I still deliver services after being 19 years old and now 45. I love what I do. It's a passion of mine, so I go over and above for the families and kids that I serve, period.
Okay. Now, what you got to do, because when we have guests, I tell them, because people trying to write this down, so you got to slow it down a little bit so they can, so we're going to try it again.
We learned this.
Yeah, just to slow it down, so give folks time to write it down, because, they want to do that. So I'll let you go ahead and repeat what you just said, but at a slower speed.
Gotcha.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, you want to check out my book? It's at www.hiddengemsbylg.com. 21 poems of motivation and inspiration at a reasonable cost for the families and students that I serve.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Now, hidden, for those of you that didn't do well in spelling, is HIDDEN, and GEMS is GEMS, of course, by LG.
I'm wondering, what made you come up with that title?
Good question, Dr. T. I think for me, it kind of went along with my experience of working with youth. My business is all about motivation, inspiration, and so hidden part has to do with my voice. My voice was hidden. And so I wanted to make sure that people knew when you put the gift along with something that's behind the scenes, because that was me behind the scenes. I was a kid on the back of the bus. But then I came out front. And so now it's no longer hidden. I have a voice, I have a gift, and I'm using my gifts and talents to help the students and the kids and the families that I work with.
So you pretty much helping these youths find their voice in a positive way other than hostility and gun violence and beefs. That's a word, beefs, because they had said that in the article too, that they had some beef on the streets. And
that's what they call it, yeah.
So you picked up the lingo pretty well on that as well, huh?
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay. Well, what we have,
time for another, you think?
Do we? I'll check with our director. Do we have?
Maybe time for one more.
Absolutely, that's no problem at all. I love it.
And we are diversity focused today. Did you have one written about? Oh, adversity. That's actually a good one there.
Okay.
Adversity.
You got 2 minutes to get less than 2.
Okay, so you got a gooder pace. Yep.
All right, got you. Adversity flows from rivers of uncertainty and it rests on the banks of our reality. It shows up unannounced, but it departs once it realizes it cannot stand in the way of our progress. When I stand face to face with adversity, it causes me to reflect on the courage and perseverance of my ancestors. They marched hundreds of miles just to stand toe-to-toe with invisible enemies that tried to block the roads that led to our freedom. They locked arms with strangers that became sisters and brothers for the fight for equal rights. When I see adversity, I see the smiles of hospital patients, both young and old, who are waiting patiently for a miracle to show up in their lives. They have transformed their minds from the present condition to imagine a time where they'll finally be released from the prison of pain. When I see adversity, I see the faces of cancer survivors. They are raising their fists to the sky to remind the world they refuse to give up or give in. And I now say to myself, adversity, you cannot defeat me. You cannot define me. You have no authority to confine me. I desire to set the world on fire with the potential I have on the inside. Adversity, you thought you can break me. My mission is not complete till I prove your opinion of me is obsolete. I am the new owner of a bright new future, a vibrant past that reminds me adversity does not live here anymore.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so your book is available where else? Again, one quickly.
My book is available on www.hiddengemsbylg.com. So check out the website.
Okay, and you can go to our social media, Facebook and
Facebook, Hidden Diversity Focus Today at facebook.com, and then we're on YouTube now. Yes, we got our YouTube channel.
Okay, we'll
thank
thanks.
you, Mr. Garrison.
All right,
Thank you so much.
All righty, we're out of here. Thank you, folks, for watching and listening.